Alright guys, TacticalRab here and today I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. The Esports World Cup officially begins tomorrow. The players, everyone involved is now all here. OpTic of course arriving in style as of yesterday, but so many things to talk about as of yesterday as well. The main stage setup, everything behind the scenes, we've got so much to cover today. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I greatly appreciate it. First of all, we've just got to talk about this event and the scale of this event and what it's actually like, because I think my expectations of what it was going to be like here in Riyadh are honestly have been superseded really by the actual reality of what the Esports World Cup setup is actually like. I guess I was kind of imagining a load of buildings where they'd be running the events, and because it was the first year I was thinking, okay, they're going to put all this money into making these buildings work and they're going to have the players here and everything, and I wasn't really expected the event to be, you know, maybe that well supported or that large of scale, but it's being held at somewhere called Boulevard City on the west side of Riyadh, and it is in some sense a city. I mean, I'll show you guys some images in a second just to try and, like, for those who aren't here, understand what it's actually like to be here. Obviously, for many of the guys, it's been a serious challenge to even be here because, as Clay says, 28-hour travel day, not that much sleep, only got 4 hours in. I mean, look at this guy. He's absolutely going through it, right? And, you know, literally shell-shocked from the travel day. So Clay made it. Everyone else involved, I believe, has made it. And look, we're ready to go for the event. This is Nameless's pictures. I just wanted to kind of share what's going on, because as Nameless says, this is the Esports Boulevard, right? So this entire setup is all about the Esports World Cup. It has been for the last several weeks, and it will be for this week and next week as well. And I didn't really expect there to be this much going on. I thought, okay, we're here for the competition, and that's about it. But that's not actually how it is. There's so much going on. There's all sorts of different buildings around with all sorts of different things happening, not just esports stuff. There was one museum we went into yesterday, which was like Legends of Football, and they had like hundreds of jerseys in there from like classic football matches. They had like a signed Pele jersey from 1959. They had Maradona jerseys. They had Ronaldo jerseys. All sorts of other football memorabilia, like, you know, an actual real Champions League trophy in there and all sorts of stuff. And that's just like part of the venue really, or part of the, you know, the boulevard. And there's all sorts of games for like kids to play and stuff. There's so many like families here bringing their kids. This is another one. There's the Aramco Arena, which has like an Aston Martin Formula 1 car in the middle, and then around it you have all of these like racing sim setups you can just hop on and play if you want. And that was like packed yesterday. We walked in there completely for free. Most places you just walk in for free. I guess like you probably have to pay entry if you're coming just as like a family or whatever, but there's just like a massive car park outside and there's just tons of cars there. Like I really wasn't expecting, given we were there yesterday like a Tuesday evening, there to just be so many people there and it to be that busy. And the actual building that we are in, and I'll show you guys that in a second, it is, you know, people can just walk in and see what's going on, really, to the actual venue. And there's things to do, there's games to play, there's activations with PlayStation and all sorts of other stuff. It's like, it's on a different scale to what I thought it would be, genuinely. And it's not just about the Esports World Cup competition. There's so much else going on. I also don't think the pictures kind of do it justice on some level as to what it's like. It is hot here, I will say that. But the heat is like dry heat, so it's not, you know, it's not as hot as you'd think it is, given it's 47 degrees. That's my opinion. Others may disagree with you on that. But anyway, so there's a couple of buildings. The Call of Duty matches are going to be taking place in the Amazon Arena, which is literally just across a small little road where, I mean, there's no cars on these roads. It's all pedestrianised. It's just like golf buggies and stuff that take people along if they need help travelling and stuff like this. So it's just across this little strip. It takes about 20 seconds to walk between the two buildings. And we are in something like the STC Arena. And in there, they've got, I don't know if they're going to play the FIFA in there. I think that may be where the FIFA's going to be played. There's kind of like a main stage setup just for like a 1v1 type thing. And there's several other things going on in the venue itself. I'll show you guys a picture of that in a second. This is like the FaZe booth. So this here at the top side is what I'm going to make my office for the next few days. And I'll show you guys that in a second. But this area is pretty much the FaZe booth downstairs. So there's like 4 PC setups. There's all like kids in there all the time playing Fortnite or FIFA or whatever, various other games. There's a few like activations here with the FaZe and City stuff going on. That's like the booth that Ghosty is running. This is the downstairs bit here with, you know, the boys playing whatever they're going to play. And then there's a couple of other things as well. Now upstairs on this kind of, so this is this other like office style streamer room. Just to the left of it is where the watch party setup's going to be. So we've got like 3 couches, and it was incredible that we just walked in there yesterday. And, you know, usually when we go to these events trying to do a watch party, trying to get everything set up for the event, there's a few, you know, complicating factors. Maybe, you know, the PC isn't going to work or the connectors don't work. We walk in there, there's like 4 couches, 7 PCs just lying around. And, you know, in this like streamer room, there was the lighting and everything. So I just basically spent yesterday setting up some of my stuff on this PC so I can make videos from there, because usually when the matches are over I have to come back to the hotel and make a video here, which is, you know, it's a bit of a trek really between where the Boulevard City is and getting back to the hotel. I don't really want to have to do that, so I was hoping to find some sort of room where I could just plonk the laptop down and make a video there after the matches are over, but it turns out there's just this whole room. So anyway, this is where I'm kind of set up here after I sorted it all out yesterday, and this is over the STC arena. So this is a different setup to the one where the COD is going to be played, and we'll see that in a second. But you guys can see just, you know, people minute about. They can just walk in. There's sort of activations around. There's this kind of like stage over here with all sorts of setups people can play stuff on. And then to the right of kind of where the shot is, that's where the kind of little main stage is with the 1 versus 1. They were playing some game called Stormgate yesterday. I think it might be FIFA over the coming days. I'm putting some more behind the scenes stuff as well on Instagram if you guys want to follow me on there. That'll be linked down below, top line, all that good stuff. But yeah, it's just such a remarkable place. And then, as ReeaL says, the EWC player lounge is insane. Now, I thought, because there's a building in the kind of area that I'm talking about, next door to the venue, that is a player lounge. And I think it's a 2-story building, and hopefully I can go check it out. I think I will be able to see what's going on in there. Apparently this is the player lounge at like the hotel the pros are staying at. So they have like a player lounge at the venue, and then they have another player lounge at the hotel. Like the entire hotel the players are staying at is kitted out for the World Cup, I'm pretty sure. So it's just absolutely bonkers. And I'm sure you'll see talk about it from the players over the coming days. And like, there's always going to be controversy about an event like this, but I think like the scale to which they've gone to try and make this work, and also the amount of like local support that it's getting from people who live around here is incredible, genuinely. So we've got to talk about the COD stuff as well, what's going on in that venue, because this is going to be what the trophy is going to look like. And obviously you guys know, if you guys haven't watched any other EWC stuff, that this triangle bit, effectively if you beat a team, you can take one of their keys, as in if you beat them, you can chuck it into your trophy. So if you're Toronto and you win this tournament, you're certainly going to be putting the FaZe key, as it were, in your trophy to show that you beat them on your run to the championship. So that's one of the other features. This, though, is the Amazon Arena, so just across the road from where we are. So we're not going to be in exactly the same spot as like the actual venue the players are in, but it's just over the road. Hopefully we will be able to get, you know, players on the show and stuff like this. It's not like it's too hot to walk between the 2 buildings. That was at least my perception. But this is what I mean. It's a sick looking main stage. Yeah, I think that STC is the building that we're in, and then this is the Amazon Arena. But it's a fire main stage. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I haven't actually got to go in there and see it yet. I think I'm going to do that today. But I mean, look, this is one of the images of the setup that they're going to be playing on. Look, it's not quite the center stage what we had at the World Championship, but comparing this to some of the other kind of events we've had so far this season, like, I mean, the stages is absolutely what you'd want to see. So, I mean, you compare some of the stuff like this to, you know, let's say Miami Major 2, like when it just looked like a local lad or whatever. It's, you know, this is what I'm kind of talking about on in the future, how will this event be considered, right? Like, it's not going to be considered the same as the Ring, but is it going to be considered like equivalent to a major, less than a major, more than a major? I don't know. But it's certainly going to be a spectacle. I think there's no doubt about that. The other thing that I kind of have heard, and I think is true to at least some degree, speaking to locals here, that of all the games that they're playing at the Esports World Cup, Call of Duty is actually one of the biggest. I think Saudi Arabian viewership on my videos is like 0.1%. It's not especially big. But there is a pretty big Saudi COD community. We obviously know that because you've got the likes of King aBeZy, who's of course still playing at this tournament. He used to 1v1 Illy way back in the day all the time. So there's always been a pretty big Saudi interest in COD. And from the people I've talked to, they're expecting of, like, you know, the fans to attend and support Falcons and stuff like this. It is going to be, you know, pretty well supported. I think of all the esports, people are really excited about how the Call of Duty stuff is going to go. So I'm buzzing to see how it turns out as well. I think the other thing that's going to be quite interesting really is the OpTic side, because the Saudi fans will be supporting Falcons, really, right? I don't know how that's going to work. Like, are they going to be Falcons fans and then OpTic fans secondary, because this is kind of how it was, let's say, at CWL Birmingham or even CWL London or whatever, way back in 2019, 2018, that kind of time for UK Call of Duty. Obviously, a lot of the UK fans are going to support the local teams, let's say Splice as it was at the time, or obviously in more recent times London to some degree. But, you know, the UK teams would get supported, but OpTic would always be either secondary or still number one, really. Whereas in Saudi, I don't know what it's going to be like. I'm not sure whether the local fans that are going to be there, are they going to be, you know, they're going to be supporting Falcons first, I'm sure. But then assuming Falcons get eliminated or whatever, then who are they going to support? Like, is it going to be Let's Go OpTic chants in the crowd? I don't really think so. So, you know, I know there's going to be some discussion on it, right? Because there's no drums for OpTic this event or whatever. So if they don't win, people are going to be saying, oh, well, you know, local fan cheese, drum cheese, whatever. But look, the OpTic boys are there, of course. They're going in effectively as the favourites for the event, really. They also have a very achievable group compared to the others. Like, for example, FaZe, who are also still expected to be very good this tournament. And I guess we'll find out over the coming days whether these extra couple of weeks they've had after champs have been beneficial or harmful to their status as a team, because if things have gone well behind the scenes over the last couple of weeks, they could be in a great spot here. And if they play well this tournament, or if they win it, then they're likely going to stick it out for next season, assuming some of the behind the scenes drama has potentially been resolved. If they don't, then it's obviously a very different story, right? But for FaZe, they play a more challenging group with, I think, Falcons, and, you know, they're down there in Group D. 100 tier in there, though, as well. So theoretically, if Thieves could beat FaZe, which is possible, then FaZe would be number 2 seed in their group. Or even if they end up number 1 seed FaZe, they play the Group C team from either first or second seed. And that is likely to be a team such as Toronto, right? So Ultra are in a group with Boston and Heretics and Stallions, right? So the FaZe Black team, effectively. And let's say Boston were to, like, upset Toronto, or Heretics were to upset Toronto, and Toronto were to be second seed, or even if they're first seed. What I'm really saying is, FaZe and Ultra could play round 1 of the bracket, right? Because if FaZe and Ultra make it through, as in one of the top 2 seeds, but they don't make it through both of them as the first seed, then they will play each other in the first round of the bracket in a single elimination situation. So there's a realistic possibility this tournament that one of FaZe or Ultra goes home top 8, because it's single elim, so there's no second chances. And if it is Toronto versus FaZe round 1, Scrappy versus Drazah again, I mean, wow, that's going to be a crazy series. I'm hoping it happens, obviously, because why not? But it could happen regardless, even if it's somewhat later into the tournament. So everything does kick off tomorrow, of course. It's going to be 3 p.m. local time. The games begin tomorrow, I believe. So that's 1 p.m. back in the UK, and that's going to be rather early over in the US. I'm not exactly sure when tomorrow's video is going to come out in the morning. I guess I'll just put it up as early as I can and then see what happens when the matches actually begin. I'm pretty sure it's going to be streamed most places. Here are the OpTic boys, by the way. There's no Karma here this tournament as well, kind of interesting, I guess, and it makes sense to be fair for Karma. Does he want to, you know, he's a father, right? He's got stuff to do. But so JP's here, and the rest of the OpTic boys are here, and obviously they're getting ready to go as well for the weekends. Kenny was not in the mood to smile, really, after the travel day that they just went through, but, you know, the other boys are smiling after getting off their 20-odd hours in business class. I guess it maybe wasn't too bad. But I think most people will be streaming it on Twitch. I think the Breaking Point YouTube's going to be live as well. We'll figure it all out today, but very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
I thought it shut automatically.
Oh.